Hello, people. It's your boy Osman back again with another topic show. As always, I don't even know what's going off here. I'm not going to lie. I just realized there's no sound. Hopefully, the sound now. It's your boy Osman back again with another topic show. Honestly, guys, the absolute mess we've had so far with technology. But for those of you that are putting in the comments, what did I miss? You haven't missed anything. You're actually on time. Sadly, I'm a bit late because of technology. But anyways, rest assured, we are going to give you another fantastic topic show. Today's topic is Manchester United's greatest ever number 7. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Of course, it's Sanchez or Di Maria. Sadly, that was another show. That was another show. I'll let you know, Barry will tell you a bit more about that one. But listen, as always, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 1,000. But anyways, if you've got any comments, if you're joining us live on Twitter, make your way over to YouTube. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. Anyways, we are joined by 3 very special guests. One has just gotten because he probably thought he's had enough of my voice. We have got Barry and Kojo. Boys, how are we doing?
All good, sir. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Hello, Usman.
I'm good. Barry, it's good to see you. You know, just flexing on Beckham like that with the new kit. Let's just get you under big cam. What we're saying, Barry? Do you wanna flex the kit? What we're saying? Oh, look at that, you beauty. To be fair, I've got to say, it does. I'm not even just saying this because it's your beautiful self, Barry, but it does actually look a lot better when I've seen someone wearing it rather than the pictures. Obviously, I don't know what other people think. And also, we are joined by Alan. Bro, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Usman. I'm doing good. Yeah, this is the first time I'm on All for United.
Absolute
Excited,
pleasure.
amazing.
Absolute pleasure. Don't worry, we'll look after you. I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to let you go first. But for those of you that are new to the topic, make sure, first and foremost, you check us out on All for United on Twitter, because there will be a poll after the show where you can vote for the winner. But if you are new, the way it works is we've got the topic, which I've already discussed, and each person is going to get a chance to make a case for the person they pick. For example, if I was to go first and I picked Valencia as my favourite number 7, I don't think anyone's going to say that one. And the person who's after me, so if it's Kojo, he can't say Valencia. As it's taken, you have to make a case for another player. Anyways, we've got quite a lot of you joining us. Make sure you comment in the comment section who your number 7 is, your favourite number 7, and then we'll read some of them out. Noah, we're going to have to start with you, bro. Alan, we're going to start with you. Who is the number 7 that you're going for?
Well, personally speaking, number 7 for Manchester United, I'm taking it based on 3 criteria. First one is talent. Second one, longevity. Third one is the impact. Okay. And I'm giving more stress on the impact here. So the Manchester United number 7 who has created the biggest impact to us as a team since the Fergie era has been King Eric Cantona. So, according to me, it is Eric Cantona because it's not just on the pitch, but it's off the pitch as well. He's been an amazing game changer for us, serial game changer, because he's got everything. If I start with the pie chart here, he's got ball control, passing range, strong in the air, he's creative, he's got everything inside his box. And he's like the left wing of politics in terms of football. He rebels against authority, and at the same time, he's got the moves for the number 7, whether it be the top up collar, whether it be the race chess, the kung fu kick. He's got it all inside him. He's like the cult hero of the Premier League. According to me, and I was born after Eric Cantona retired, actually. So I was born in 2 years after his retirement, and I couldn't see him live, but I got introduced to Manchester United with a player like Eric Cantona. From my family, there are some Manchester United supporters.
Yeah,
I got to know more about this club with the help of Eric Cantona. So for me, it's Eric Cantona all day, every day. Best number 7.
Wow, strong in there. I love the fact that, you know, what you said in terms of impact. Of course, longevity, I've got to say, kind of falls short in terms of longevity in that sense, but you did emphasize the importance of impact, and I'm just going to echo that and say and put it on blast. Every single player from the class of 92 has gone on record and said they would not have achieved what they achieved without King Eric. A lot of other people have come into Roy Keane, you know, other influential players in our history have also said that King Eric was the catalyst for the success of the club. So for me personally, I completely agree with everything you said in terms of the shout for Eric Cantona. He's definitely worthy of a shout. Barry, we're going to come to you second. I know you normally get upset with me because I don't favour you. So I'll come to you second. I've not got you third, so just bear that in mind, Barry, later in case you do lose. Anyway, so we've got King Eric here, Barry. Who are you going for?
Right. Well, just to say, there's no way that I'm going to lose tonight, because it's a no-brainer who our greatest number 7 is. His name is most appropriate, and it's George Best. I think that when it goes to the popular vote, of course, if the voters are all Alan's age, they'll vote for Eric Cantona because they never had the privilege of watching George Best. Yeah. But I did. And you got to consider the following. Firstly, George Best finished playing at United when he was 27 years old. Now, that's arguably when a player is in his prime age-wise, and it's well documented as to why he sort of fell out of love with football. But during the seasons that he was at United, having made his debut in 1963, he played 470 games for United. He scored 179 goals for United. So a prolific goal scorer, and he was a winger. Now, if you talk about all those qualities that Alan was talking about, Best had them in abundance. And, you know, they used to call him the fifth Beatle. Such was his popularity in the 1960s. Bear in mind as well that when he played, the pitches were heavy, they were mud patches, the ball was heavy. If it rained, the shirt got weighed down. The tackle from behind was not illegal. They used to half murder him every game, and he used to come back for more. And he was one of football's greatest entertainers, mesmerizing skills, unbelievably brave, a wisp of a man, yet he was as strong as anything. Good in the air, good with both feet, unbelievable in the dribble, fantastic low center of gravity, and a massive entertainer. He scored spectacular goals. He scored important goals. And of course, he's remembered for certain virtuoso performances, especially in the European Cup away against Benfica, who had not lost a game at home in the European Cup for many years. He slaughtered them, often regarded as his best game ever. And he inherited the moniker of El Beatle after that game. Of course, European Cup winners in 1968. He won the league on a couple of occasions with United. He won the Ballon d'Or with United in 1968, together with the Football Writers' Footballer of the Year. And remember, this guy's a winger, and he was United's top scorer for 5 seasons in a row. So he was really, you know, you may talk about in the modern era the David Beckhams. As popular as Beckham may have been, an iconic and kind of the pop star image, George Best had it all. Yeah. So for me, head and shoulders, not only United's best number 7 ever, but United's best player ever.
Wow. But did you mention... Oh, no, that was the striker, wasn't it? I was about to say, did you mention George Best in that debate? Right, okay.
Yeah, and just to mention, he's the 5th highest scorer in the history of the club. The players that scored more than him all got over 200 goals. But 179 goals, joint 5th scorer with Dennis Violet in the history of the club. So unbelievably prolific for a winger.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people in the comments are agreeing with you as well. It got a few funny comments. I'm sure they're going to make you smile here, Barry. Firstly, from Joe, I disagree with Barry. What a shock. But this one is my favorite. If I could just find it, Barry, you're going to love this one bit. And the first time Neil has agreed with you.
Hey.
But I'm breaking a confidence. Joe actually told me before the show that for him, it's actually poetic that Jesse Lingard wears the number 14 shirt because he's twice as good as any number 7.
Exactly.
And this was Joe, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why Joe has been dropped. I'm joking, it's not being dropped before people start spreading stuff. Right, okay. Yeah, firstly, just want to say before we move on, it's absolutely fantastic, Neil, to have you in the comments. Huge love, obviously, as always. Hopefully, speedy recovery, my brother. And he's also still got his humor. Again, what a shock. What the chuff is that you got on, Barry? God, we love you, Neil, mate. God bless you, bro. Right, okay. So we've got George Best and Cantona. I've got to say, when it goes to iconic Manchester United players, you've kind of picked two of the most iconic ones. I'm trying to think, obviously, of course, the Holy Trinity, but in terms of the closer to our generation, I can't think of anyone else. But luckily, it's not up to me to do that. It's up to Kojo. So, Kojo, you have the poison challenge, so to speak, this week. Who's the person you've gone for? Has it been taken?
See, this is the annoying thing because you might have just spoken about two legends of the game, but I was stuck between. So I managed to see Cantona when I was a bit younger, before he left United, and the guy was a magician. If I can admire someone being that high, then the guy's a magician. But there was one guy that made me fall in love with football. That stayed for Beckham, and he's my favorite number 7 until we had a Portuguese magician join the club. So, so I am saying I'm gonna say Cristiano Ronaldo. See, the thing with Ronaldo is obviously we took a huge gamble. 18 years old, came to the club, number 7, huge expectation, especially with that number. All the legends before him, there was no bad number 7 that we had before him. After him, kind of went bad from there. But
what was wrong with Depay in Valencia? And Di Maria and Sanchez,
in the words of our Europa League manager, Jose Mourinho, if I speak, I am in very big trouble. But the guy just became a monster out of nowhere. I'm talking about winning Ballon d'Ors. The only person after George Best to do that at Man United. Broke George Best's record for goals by a midfielder in one single season in 2008 when he scored 42 goals for us. He was just the absolute catalyst for what was a time when Arsenal went unbeaten and Chelsea started to come out of Mourinho and their money. We built a team and there was this wizard that came out of nowhere and started becoming just a monster. And 06, 07, 07, 08, 08, 09, we were absolutely mesmerized by an absolute magician, someone that scored a ridiculous amount of not only number of goals, but the quality of goals. You can just look at 07, 08 by itself. The free kick against what they call Portsmouth, the flick against Aston Villa at home. I can't remember if this is that season or the season after when we came back against Tottenham 5-2. The header he scored against Tottenham as well. Just a whole catalogue of goals. I've spoken about his Ballon d'Or already, and he cleared the competition. You're talking about going against Ronaldinho, Kaká, Messi, Iniesta, Fernando Torres, who came and absolutely ripped out the Premier League. We had an absolute monster of a player. And the thing about Ronaldo compared to the others is, I can't talk too much about George Best because as much as I know about his legacy, I've only seen clips of him. I never got to watch him in a full game properly. And that's unfortunate because I obviously missed out on an absolute gem of a player. But with Ronaldo, I was fortunate enough to not miss one moment, and the guy just tore everyone to shreds. Also, the first player I think I don't know if it's in overall Premier League / Division 1 history, but he won all the accolades that you kind of win as an individual in one season as well. No one else has done that since. And I don't think anyone's done it before him in the Premier League era, and I don't know if Division 1 era before as well. The guy just came and became a star. And the scary thing about it is, even though he left us, he became even better. Now, obviously, where he's done at Madrid and Juventus doesn't count towards his career at Man United. But we've been blessed enough to have seen one of the world's greatest players of all time develop at our club, become a star at our club, become the best on the planet in our club, win three Premier League titles in a row at our club, a Champions League, and another Champions League final after that. And he was key in everything. Top goal scorer, part of one of the best front threes of all time in the Premier League era. Yeah, so I could probably harp on all day. I don't want to go too much further into it, but yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo pips it for me.
I've got to be honest, right? This is the first show that I generally don't have a clue to pick. Like I know obviously you guys are all gonna stick to your own players, and of course that's what you need to do. But me sat here as a neutral, it's so difficult to decipher because of course they're literally three different generations, aren't they? Really, obviously George Best was influential and so integral to everything positive going forward in that era. Same for Eric Cantona and of course Ronaldo, as you mentioned. I just want to, before we move on, another comment from Neil Kojo. This one's for you actually. Obviously you can answer this. It's quite a serious question as well, so obviously make sure you give a proper response. We love you, Neil. Oh God. Unbelievable. Listen, before we obviously go on to the individual debates on why your player should be picked, for those that will be casting their vote in the polls later on, I just want to do some special mentions. We always do special mentions. Anyone, of course, not good enough to make this top three, but you think deserves a mention. So, Alan, I'll come to you first. I'm assuming Barry. Well, to be fair, a lot of people say Brian Robson deserves a mention, Barry. So I'll leave that one for you because I'm assuming you probably know more than the other guys. But anyways, Alan, we'll come to you first. Is there anyone you think that deserves a mention that hasn't been mentioned at all? Of course, obviously a fantastic number 7 for the club, so to speak.
Well, ever since Cristiano Ronaldo, there hasn't been a player who dominated in a number 7 shirt.
Yeah.
So according to me, I agree with Brian Robson. Brian Robson is one of them, but I know he's known as Captain Marvel. But I cannot explain more about Brian Robson. I know he's been a fantastic player. Haven't seen him much, but I've seen some highlights of him, playing with Steve Bruce and all. But I can say that there is I'll tell you one thing. After Cristiano Ronaldo, I felt if Antonio Valencia was one of them who was pretty underrated. I feel he didn't have a good lifespan in that number 7 shirt, but prior to that, he was a key element in the Ferguson's team. So I think it's Antonio Valencia, and he's been a club captain as well for 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah,
he's been big team player as well.
I completely agree with you. I think a lot of people kind of remember the last passage of Valencia's career where he could not take his opposition fullback on to save his life. But honestly, God, I think he was being a fantastic servant. I always refer back to that season where Ronaldo first left, I believe, where he got literally so many assists just for Rooney alone, where Rooney had that unbelievable season after Ronaldo left. When he stepped up, Valencia was massively influential in that, in terms of creating chances and getting a lot of assists. Obviously, we know how many fans love stats and don't actually watch games. So for those of you that don't watch the games, he got good stats for that season. But in general, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Sir Alex worked his magic on him as he does with every player, and completely exceeded his ability or his potential by getting the absolute best out of him. Kojo, I'm going to come to you before we come to Barry, because I'm sure Barry will have. There's quite a lot in here, and I want to pass them to you, Barry, because again, I feel like you're more credible to talk about these players in particular than us lot. Kojo, talk to me about another number 7. The most noticeable one for me has to be Bex. I love Beckham. I think he's another person that's criminally underrated. Just because he's a model, good-looking lad, that fashion brand. people completely forget that Trent. People are rating Trent. Well, you haven't seen the man who was there way before Trent was even born. So put some respect on Beckham's name. But Coach, is there anyone else? Obviously, you can include Beckham. Is there anyone else that you feel like deserves a mention?
Yeah, I was thinking about Kanchelskis as well, because Kanchelskis is someone that goes under the radar as well.
There's a lot of comments about Kanchelskis.
Yeah, which is actually in general, not only just like football fans in general, but especially United fans. I don't hear enough United fans. Maybe the old generation mention him, but United fans don't really seem to realize how good Kanchelskis was.
Yeah,
the guy was a magician. This is fast techers in terms of skills, dribbling, scoring goals. Man, he was a magician. But I am going to harp on about Beckham, because what you just said, bro. See, that's the guy that made me fall in love with football. If I'm being honest, when I was a kid, you know, when you're a young kid, you always want to look towards someone that you can say, yeah, this is the guy that I want to be like. And you know, this generation, even fans that are in the UK, they look towards a Messi or Ronaldo. They don't have that British player that they can look upon and say, that's my guy, because they don't have that status about them. Yeah. But Ronaldo had it. Ronaldo, you talk about looks and everything. If you know, like in I compared him to like The Rock in WWE.
Like a brand in terms of
like a brand. Like the Rock was obviously talented at wrestling, but he had the looks, he had the charisma, everything about him that you wanted to look at him, and that's what Beckham had. And also about Beckham is the thing that him being underrated is the fact is people forget that this guy came second in the Ballon d'Or list. He was an absolute monster in the 98-99 season. Absolute monster of a player. And tell me a player that we've had before or after that's been able to cross a ball to absolute perfection like him. Take free kicks to absolute perfection like him. He showed up for club and country. When
I was just about to say as well, please mention that free kick for Greece.
Yeah, exactly. When England needed him, and I always harp about this by my United players, because when we needed someone to drag us through the mud against Juventus, Roy Keane stepped up. And we had more than just Roy Keane as a leader, but he was the leader. But Beckham was a leader. And when he went to lead his country against Greece, despite all the BS about the red card against Argentina and all the abuse he was getting, this guy whacked on the armband, got onto the pitch, got out Old Trafford against Greece, and he bossed the game from start to finish, and he won it for them. That is a leader. That is a player that deserves all the accolades in the world. The guy was a supreme footballer, passing ability, set pieces, criminally underrated when he could play in the middle and he could play out wide. Catalogue of goals. I mean, are you kidding me? Absolute magician, man. We've been blessed. Honestly, we've actually been blessed.
Yeah, we have, to be fair. Not in the last few years, but we definitely have. I just to add to obviously what you said regarding Beckham. Look, I think for me personally, I'm trying to think who the person was that made me fall in love with Man United. It's between Beckham and Scholes. I'm just trying to decide which one it is off the top of my head. But Beckham is definitely the conversation, as you've already alluded to. His ability to just get the ball to do whatever he wanted, free kicks, dead ball, open play. His relationship with Gary Neville as well. He actually made Gary Neville look like a half-decent right back. You know, I'm messing here. Obviously, Gary Neville was quite quality before people started slandering me. But no, honestly, I'm a massive fan of Beckham. Obviously, Gary. I call you Gary Neville there. Of course, our very own David Beckham is in the studio here. Barry, aka representing the shirt. Obviously, Barry, I'll pass it on to you if there's anyone else that you want to mention. Of course, a lot of people are saying Brian Robson, Captain Marvel, so to speak. We have got a comment from Neil again. Obviously, he's a huge fan of the shirt. Tell Barry to take off his work clothes because the shirt looks like a paint shirt. Barry is actually modelling for us. If you haven't already seen the tweet, check it out. A thing of beauty. But Barry, anyone else we've mentioned most? I would probably say the most iconic. But is there anyone else that you want to add? And then we'll finish with the debate at the end.
Oh, definitely. And I have to say, I'm quite impressed with Kojo's love fest with David Beckham. That was quite impressive.
Oh, I love Beckham as well, man. I could have went on to leave it.
Yeah, but I think that when we're talking about iconic number sevens at Man United, Brian Robson comes in only a shade behind George Best.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Robson is the consummate midfielder, probably the greatest midfielder we've ever had, arguably, for a number of reasons. Firstly, longevity. He was at United for 13 seasons, an unbelievable captain. He scored 99 goals for United in 461 games. So he was prolific. And he played at United at a time where United weren't great. So he carried the team virtually single-handed for several seasons. And he had it all. Again, quite a small guy, but unbelievably brave. And in fact, that was his downfall, because he got so many injuries, because Robson, never mind competing for 50-50 balls, if it was a 10-90 ball, he would compete for it. And as a result of that, he sustained a lot of injuries. Of course, he captained England many times. He won 90 caps for England. He missed 35 games through injury for England. So he would have been England's most capped outfield player had he been able to play in those games. And he had it all. And he really was kind of the bridge from the Atkinson into the Ferguson era. He was in the latter part of his career when he won his first couple of Premier League medals, 93 and 94. But an unbelievable player. Captained United to 3 FA Cup victories, to the European Cup Winners' Cup. And when you listen to ex-players talking about their greatest United 11, Robson walks into it and he captains the team. So for me, an iconic number 7. And in the poll, it's just a pity that he wasn't mentioned, because he comes in second to George Best for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you would put him above, of course, the other two players that mentioned. Right, so obviously that leads me on nicely to the next debate, so to speak. Well, the final debate, so to speak. Your last opportunity to state a claim why your player is above the other two in the polls. Of course, if you aren't aware, on All For United Twitter page, we will be doing a poll, possibly after the show, if not early hours tomorrow, basically giving you opportunity to vote for the winner. Anyways, Alan, we'll come to you first. So this is your opportunity. Maybe 30 seconds to, well, I'll give you a minute to 2 minutes max, in terms of putting your case forward. Why is Eric Cantona the best, or the greatest, should I say, number 7 over the other two mentioned? So what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, he joined the club at the age of 25 and retired at the age of 31. So he had a span of 5 years, and he's won 4 Premier League titles, 4. And in that, we missed on one because of that incident in Selhurst Park. But then when he returned back, we were able to win the FA Cup final against Liverpool, if I remember correctly. And he's the first United captain to come from a foreign nationality. And so that too after Brian Robson. So the amount of leadership he gave into that squad, along with Schmeichel and Roy Keane, to the class of 92, that has set the foundation that bridged the gap in order to progress the team forward, especially in the Fergie era. And another thing about him as a player is that he was versatile enough. He played in attacking midfield, center midfield, mainly played as a forward. He played a deep line behind the center forward, and then he just amazing guy. Away from football, he just showed you he had certain principles, and he stuck with those principles. Right now, footballers do not have those particular principles which Eric Cantona used to have those days. He had that attitude where he used to be the strong man in the dressing room, and it is sad he retired before the commercial era of football ever began, before the likes of David Beckham, Ronaldo, and all, who, outside football they were a big face. And Eric Cantona, before that, he was involved in a lot of social, political issues, and strong man. And he just showed you why United is a working class club. He just showed you the workers element in the team. He showed you how to play as a team. Like, it's not about the individual. It is about sticking together, how to orchestrate the midfield, how to move forward. And that is one of the major points I would like to share with you. And Eric Cantona is the best number 7 United ever had.
To be honest, again, every time I listen to what you guys have got to say, I always say no. They're not wrong. Everything that they said, I completely agree. I think coming back to what you said initially in terms of the impact, it's just for me in terms of Cantona, did he have the biggest impact? Because like you mentioned, 4 out of 5 Premier League trophies. He was the overriding influence in the success of Giggs, etc., and all their career early on in their state of their careers. Of course, if he wasn't there, potentially you don't know what would have happened to them. Mentally, would they have been able to recover from sort of downfall, so to speak? So it's interesting to see what the other guys have got to say in terms of trying to go back against that. Very good case there for Eric Cantona. Kojo will come to, in fact, no, Barry will come to you. We're still in the same order. Barry will come to you. Why is George best? You've already kind of said it anyways, but just to drive it home, Barry, to secure the win, why is George Best more credible than the other two?
Right, well, George Best came into the Man United team 5 years after the Munich air crash. So United were going through a major rebuilding period. As I mentioned before, he came in an era where there was a lot of thuggery on the football field, and artists with the ball weren't tolerated by these heavy-set defenders. They used to try and kick lumps out of them. Yeah. And if the referees gave the same protection, I mean, United, every game they played, the opposition would have had about 5 red cards given to them. So his bravery was absolutely incredible. The other guys are excellent, but bear in mind that Cantona was at United only for 4.5 seasons. Ronaldo was at United for 6 seasons. Best played there for 11 seasons, and in 5 or 6 of them, he was the top scorer, yet he was an out-and-out winger. The tactics in those days weren't as sort of refined as nowadays in terms of different formations. Playing conditions were much more difficult, and he didn't have a minder to look after him like Fergie looked after Giggsy and the likes thereof. So I think that was something that was a problem for him. Yet, as a player, up until the age of 27, as I mentioned, he overcame that. And we saw him come in as an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, really from Ireland, absolutely green, not only the green of the Irish shirt, but a guy with really little experience in terms of life out there. And he had to cope with a lot of stuff, which initially he did. But we're talking about George Best, the footballer, who was mesmerizing. He was an entertainer. Kojo spoke about all these different goals that Ronaldo scored. If you go and get the video of George Best's greatest goals, you'll find similar goals there as well. But mesmerizing dribbling skills. And every time he got the ball, there was a buzz in the stadium, that is for sure. And I think the greatest tribute to George Best is that when unfortunately he passed away, football fans the world around celebrated his life and, acknowledged what a great player. And remember that Pele, who is acknowledged by many as the greatest footballer ever, he said George Best was the greatest footballer ever. So no-brainer. And I'm hoping that the vote is contributed to by some of the members that are my age and not the teenagers, because otherwise George won't get the votes. And if I may, just on a personal note, give a shout out to Neil Burton, just to wish him well and a speedy recovery, mate. We look forward to having you back on the program.
Absolutely. Just to echo that sentiment, as we already have done, all our well wishes to you, Neil. We love you very dearly. We're missing you, ripping the shit out, all of us, and my hat, of course. So I'm assuming you're laughing somewhere about the fact that I've got my hat on backwards, as always. Right, okay, Kojo, to finish off. To be fair, very strong words from Barry. In terms of the poll itself, I've got to say, in terms of the live chat, if I was assessing it based on the live chat, Ronaldo's not even had one mention from anyone. Like, not even one. Cantona's, I haven't seen much people mention Cantona. It's literally just been Beckham and George Best in the chat. Oh, there you go, George Best shirt. Yeah, it's literally just been David Beckham and George Best in the chat. However, it's you on Twitter that gets to vote. Go for all 4 United Twitter page. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, drop a like. And it was Kojo, to finish off the show, why is Cristiano Ronaldo the greatest number 7 to grace the theatre of dreams?
Firstly, the people in the comments are just haters, yeah? All right, firstly.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking, guys. Don't do that to me. No, the guy, we're talking about guys that came at a certain age. The guy was 18 years old from Portugal, spoke very little English. adapted very quickly on his own to becoming one of the greatest players in Premier League history. Sits number 2, despite playing here 6 years, sits number 2 next to Thierry Henry in many people's opinions, or even number 1 sometimes. Crazy amount of goals for the club, 118 in 2022 for
sorry,
Winger.
I stand corrected. Someone's not happy with me.
Bro, okay, you mentioned twice.
What are you talking about this, man? I mentioned Cristiano twice. Sorry, I do apologize, man. You know, sometimes I miss comments, so there we go. You have got 2 votes for Cristiano by the looks.
We got 2 for
apologies,
Cristiano.
mate. Anyways, coach, will continue.
Yeah, and you know, at a time where United were really starting to be challenged in the Premier League for the Premier League title, and they've been winning it for 3 years, we had to make sure that we had one linchpin come in and take control, and it was Cristiano Ronaldo, Ballon d'Or winner alongside George Best. Ridiculous amount of goals scored for a winger in that era. Now it's turning into like more of this era where wingers score goals for fun, but he was like this catalyst of that, the beginning of that. 3 Premier League titles in a row, the only player to win individual accolades all across the board by himself, and then on top of that, go on to win the Ballon d'Or as well.
How many times are you going to mention the Ballon d'Or? Did you win it by any chance?
I think so. I mean, I know George Best did, but
the Cantona didn't.
No, the other guy, no, not so much. No, I love Cantona, but right now I'm gonna come the other guy so I can get my vote in there. But yeah, no, Ronaldo was the absolute professional. He loved the club. He still loves the club. He still talks about the club according to Bruno Fernandes, which is absolutely fantastic. So he loves the club as well. And I know longevity counts for a lot, and this is a very fair argument. But for 6 years, for someone that comes from another country to do something like that for our club, it's a phenomenal feat. So yeah, vote Ronaldo.
Oh my God! If you did the celebration at the end as well, that would have been perfect. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh God! Listen, I just want to say, genuinely, I'm not even just saying this because I'm hosting, but this has been the hardest one. I keep changing my mind. To everyone in the comments, as always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. You've heard all the statements from the guys. I'm sure they're all very confident in what they've said. We've got King Eric, Cristiano Ronaldo, or the man himself, George Best. Obviously, as always, check us out on Twitter, All for United. The poll will be there. Vote for who you think is the greatest Man United number 7 ever to grace the Theatre Dreams. But apart from that, it's been your host, Usman. Thank you very much for watching. Peace. Peace.